there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the independence and the fighting spirit of those of you who have Mars in the 11th house within your natal birth chart, but also for those of you who have the sign of Aries ruling your 11th house within your natal birth chart as well. So stay tuned. However, before we do dive into today's video, certainly make sure that you give this video a like if you do like it. Also, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and to, of course, click that little bell icon so that you can keep yourself updated with further content from myself. And one more quick thing to mention, and that is that I have some readings available, ebooks there as well, along with some merchandise pieces available. And so if you're interested in any of these things, you can go to the links in the description box below. You can visit my website. Okay, so with all of those introductions out of the way, Mars in the 11th house and Aries ruling the 11th house individuals, let's do this. Okay, so if you have Mars in the 11th house or the sign of Aries ruling the 11th, then what this suggests is that you typically fight on behalf of other people's rights and you defend aims and goals you have. So for example, if you notice that there are injustices happening within society, you will be the first person to stand up and do something or to say something. Or if you realize somebody is getting in the way of you achieving a particular future goal you have, so looking at a future aim or hope or wish you have, you will most likely push back or you will show them what you're made of. Naturally, however, please keep in mind the sign that Mars is in along with aspects, because whilst some of you may be more direct and forthright, others of you may be more subtle and strategic. Still, however, there is no way you're going to sit on the sidelines as you watch members of society being discriminatory or controlling or manipulative, for example. Perhaps you even consider yourself an activist, as this fiery and passionate and headstrong activist at that. Or maybe you're always involved in campaigns or protests and you prefer to be first in line when it comes to certain organizations and causes that you're a part of. In fact, it could be suggested that you prefer to lead groups that you are interested in joining. So you'll do all of the things, okay? You'll push to reach group objectives. You'll make sure others listen to your opinions and your directions. You'll make sure they watch how much you contribute. Heck, you could be the person who never backs down from a challenge within your group involvements. Or maybe you consider yourself as a leader within your friendship groups, the person who makes decisions and says it like it is amongst your friends. Now, with that being said, this could be a situation, or many situations, where you get into fights and arguments with your friends over who is boss. It's this sort of my way or the highway attitude. Again though, the ways in which you show such behaviors depends on the sign Mars is in, along with those aspects. And I also think that with maturity, you grow to become more considerate towards others. You learn to manage your fiery outbursts with a little self-awareness, and you may also learn that you can only control your individual wants and urges and desires, etc., and not other people's. Then again, maybe your friends come to accept your passionate and opinionated and interruptive behaviors. But again, maybe the fighting mentality, maybe it dies down with understanding and acceptance towards your individual aims and goals. So understanding what it is you strive for, what it is you want within society, what type of impact would you like to make, or which type of society do you see unfolding? And if others align with you, great. But if they don't, that's okay too. Maybe best for you and others to go your separate ways rather than pushing them to do what you say or to do what you want, or even pushing on them to follow your lead. And to be quite honest, it is you who is pretty independent in your worldviews and in your broader opinions. Mars in the 11th house, Aries ruling the 11th house individuals. Some would say you are a lone wolf. You are an individual amongst your peers and your friends and within your social circles in general. And so therefore, you don't typically conform with society standards and expectations. You move more in a direction towards doing your own thing. You march to the beat of your own drum. You usually don't give in to other people's judgments and their opinions. Though I suppose the thing to keep in mind with this is your tendency of pushing others away or distancing yourself from others, so much so that you are completely alone. Yeah, you can get yourself into situations where you think the whole world is against you, or as if everybody is out to get you even. And then you don't connect, you don't make the effort, you think you don't need anybody, so screw everyone. And sure, maybe there are times when you do need to act this way. Maybe these actions of yours, they are justified, perhaps all as a way to protect yourself, for example. But I also think you often don't realize how you contribute, or how you don't acknowledge when you're being stubborn or when you're being independent to a fault. For example, right? Maybe instead of reaching out in order to understand where a friend is coming from, it's like, nah, F them, I don't need them anyways. Or instead of listening to what a friend has to say, you refuse to take anything in, as if you're standing there with your fingers in your ears just going la 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 la. Some would say this is quite childish, immature behavior. Or maybe in your perspective, people shouldn't make you so mad. I mean, if they hadn't have acted that way towards you, you wouldn't have acted this way or that way towards them. Again, however, make sure that you are considering the sign Mars is in along with the aspects, but there seems to be a fighting attitude within your groups. And you might even compete with your peers or with your friends, or you might compete when it comes to your hopes and your wishes and your goals for the future. So if you notice a friend, for example, they're interested in obtaining something that you also want. It could be a house, could be a car, a new stream of income. You step into the ring and you compete so you can get that thing first. Or let's say all your peers, they are out there buying the latest iPhone, the latest camera, and you'll go a step further by obtaining both or by obtaining more. Now, of course, these are merely more basic and generalized examples, but point being, you might compete in order to get ahead or in order to outbeat others. Mars in the 11th house, Aries ruling the 11th house individuals. Also, I'm not saying this is solely a bad thing, by the way, okay? Because I think healthy competition is natural, it's normal. But when you start becoming aggressive, rude, arrogant, maybe then it's best to think about your actions and your intentions. Not only for other people's sakes, but for your own, because this whole chasing the next best thing within society, well, it can lead to hassle later on down the line, for example. Not to mention, oftentimes we aren't even satisfied with the things in which we obtain anyway. Yeah, once that instant gratification feeling dies down, we're already on to the next thing. Though, having said that, I think in your case, Mars in the 11th house, Aries ruling the 11th house individuals, it's about questioning whether or not you truly want something, or are you just striving for it because you are competing with others? That's just the question here. Though on the other hand, as I mentioned earlier, you do typically march to the beat of your own drum anyway. And so when it comes to your goals and your hopes and your wishes, etc., you are an independent thinker. You prefer to do things your own way. And your fighting spirit is very much present when it comes to these things as well. So if there is a specific thing you really want in the future, you will push and you will assert so much of your energy into obtaining that thing. You will place so much of your energy into making whatever that thing is happen. And no matter what others have to say, you will keep striving. Honestly, you most likely do not give a single F when it comes to what others think about your goals and about your wants, etc. It's like, well, I like this thing, or I'm interested in doing this thing, so that's it. Or if there's a cause that you're standing up for, it doesn't matter what others assume about you, what their opinions are about you. You're going to keep doing and you're going to keep fighting on behalf of such movements and causes. In fact, those within these movements, etc., they most likely will view you as bold or as courageous. They will see you as a risk taker, as a trailblazer, possibly as an innovative leader. On the other hand, I would not like to be there during times when others oppose you, when they disagree with you. Though with that being said, you aren't afraid of calling other people out on their crap. So for example, maybe a business online tries to con you, okay? You just might put them on blast for the whole world to see. Or let's say members within a group, they are acting in a particular way that is very distasteful in your eyes. You will tell them to catch themselves on, or you will make it clear that their behavior is uncalled for. Or let's say you notice someone on the internet, they're being fake, they're being misleading. You just might post about it in order to make the collective aware. And the beneficial thing about this is that you won't care. You will not care about being disliked for your somewhat brave and courageous actions. Because in your mind, it's like, well, others have to know. Others have to be informed. I'm just doing what's right here. Or in your mind, you're thinking, I'm standing up for the greater good. Naturally, this same societal mentality can be applied to a group or an organization or a cause that you're a part of. Whether this be a feminist group or a vegan group, climate change group. Basically, you are somebody who isn't afraid of standing up on behalf of such things. Mars in the 11th house, Aries ruling the 11th house individuals. Now, another thing to mention is to do with your tendency of rushing into said groups and movements without you taking the time to weigh things out or to think things through. In fact, you might join a group solely on an impulse or based on a quick call to action because you think, yeah, I can change the world. I can be a hero. I can fight so that others are treated better. But after getting in deeper into such groups, etc., maybe you realize, I don't agree anymore, or perhaps this wasn't the best decision for me after all. Could be a scenario where you realize that members of the group aren't all they're cracked up to be. Maybe they are too demanding, or they're too selfish, or maybe their objectives, they don't align with their actions, or maybe certain members of the group, they are hypocritical and they're actually talking complete nonsense. And if or when a situation like this arises, you will either fight against such people or you will think, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to be a part of this group or this organization or this social circle anymore. Though another possibility is that you join clubs and groups that are they're really generally geared towards things like fitness, sports, fighting, arguing, self-defense, war, protection. Now, again, I think it does depend on the sign that Mars is in, but I think there's something to be said about you joining groups that include these themes. So, for example, maybe you're a part of a debate team, or you're a part of a sporting club that is highly competitive, or maybe you're a part of a Warhammer community online, or you're possibly a part of an online gaming community that is all about outbeating your personal best. Though regardless of the group or the community, I think you push to win and you push to meet the community's goals and aims. Though the last thing that I do want to mention is to do with how your friends are independent types. You might make friends with people who are assertive, they are goal-oriented, friends who are daring and pioneering, but at the same time, you might clash or butt heads with these friends. Mars in the 11th house, Aries ruling the 11th house individuals. Kind of what I was suggesting earlier, okay? After all, they, just like you, they might be opinionated and they might be headstrong. Now, sure, there may be blow-ups and there may be arguments due to these things, but I also think that it's through conflict and it's through disagreements and challenge that new ways of thinking can be welcomed. They can be embraced. By being challenged intellectually, I suppose, that opens up an opportunity for new and interesting and different conversations and discussions to be had. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video all about the independence and the fighting spirit of those of you who have Mars in the 11th house, along with those of you who have Aries ruling the 11th house within your natal birth chart. Now, if you do happen to have any of these placements, then please let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. Did you relate? Did you not relate? Do you know somebody else with these placements? Let us know. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also make sure that you give this video a like, remember. And I will be back with another video very soon. Bye.